That's not too bad, eh? No. I think. Okay, anyway, I know I'm like a mile away. You're on top of the laundry machine. So, but anyway, I'm gonna pour. Oh, right there. Holy fuck, I think that weed's better than I thought it was. Anyway, you guys are too far away now. This is just I need that new selfie stick tripod thing. That's recycled. New garbage bags I got from this kid's today. I just did today. I left it out because I know I was going to do some vacuuming, but stinks need to anyway. Is that off? Hang on. There. Nope. The French side. Well, for Quebecois, and you guys from my one of my favorite provinces, and I do love you French people, even though I want to choke half of you. So I'm sure you feel the same, so we're in good company, aren't we guys, Quebec? And I've always said it, if Quebec wasn't part of Canada, then Canada would be the United States, okay? Quebec is what makes us Canadian, the French, the English, the uniqueness, all of it, okay? You don't have to love our brothers and sisters in Quebec there, you guys in Alberta, and they ain't got to love you. But together, one way or another, we're Canadians. And how many of you, Albert? That's my dad, by the way. That's who he was and what he was in the during the Army thing I told you guys about. He was an SP4, Lyle W. Jones, my dad, Bill, from support platoon. His friends, they signed the back. There's like 100 signatures or something on there, and they sent that up to me. So when my dad died, I'll be on this side. Granite roast, Muskoka. It's roasted right up there in the $1 million cottage place in Muskoka, Ontario. The ones that Starlink people think is really rural. I'm sorry, Starlink people, but Muskoka is not rural. It ceased being rural a long time ago. Different galaxy. I know the people there like to think of themselves as that. I'm sorry, but you're not anymore. You gave that up with your $1 million Bay Street stuff and everything, and hey man, more power to you, but you ain't rural Canada. Sorry, not anymore, you're not. We're still barely that here at Lanark, okay? People come out here and they freak out. You go, hear this, oh my God. Okay, I'm like, are you shitting me? Fuck. I have fast fucking internet out here before I put Starlink. Are you kidding me? This is not the place it used to be. And weirdly enough, that house of my mother's was the very first house that was ever hooked up in internet in this entire county because I told the story. We had the first dial-up here because of my dad's job. And let me tell you, talk about prehistoric. But the fact is, that's what it was. And that was really when, you know, we knew too, things were changing here. But they wanted my dad to stay working there. As sick as he was, he had throat cancer. He gets cured of that. But he didn't want to work inside around people with the hole in his throat. He was all shy of it. Just, you know, he wasn't comfortable doing that. So what do? They turn around and like, Bill, we really need you to stay because you know your COBOL, your Fortran, the IBM 370 mainframe, all that shit that he worked on, and they wanted him to stay. And he wanted to stay. I mean, he loves it. He loved his bureau back. So that wasn't even a given. I mean, it was a given. He was built to play with computers. He loved it. Okay, so I'm going to back off here. So we're completely fine. 1, 2, 3. I think that's 1. So I have a line for the setting, but I'm finding it's not working as good for the for this particular roast. What happened here? Oh, I plugged you. That's right. Plug the washing machine in. This has got to change. Like this. Squeeze in there. It's not a piece of shit. It's gold. But it still does exactly what it's supposed to. I'm finding that the different, like the Muskoka granite roast, if you grind it like on this grind here, and then you put in, let's say, beans from Starbucks French toast, the grind will actually come out different. I don't think it should, in theory, but it must be the actual beans themselves. Look at a belly, eh? I don't like it. Gotta go. That's the last. That's it. That next 30 pounds is right here. And it's gone. I mean, Christ almighty, I could see underneath my waist. I could see my dick for the first time in I don't know how many years. You know. I'm opening the microwave. I microwave my, I ground my, you know. Still got that powder yet, but the other thing is, I learned, put my thumb over there and shake it a bit. And that gets all the grounds kind of more uniform. But it still looks very fine. Alright, well, we'll try. It's a work in progress. There's my spoon. So I'll show you guys. See how dark that is? Can you guys see how I mean, we're talking some bad granite roast, man. It don't get much darker than granite. And if any of you Canadians will know for sure, people that are into geology and all that stuff in the States. Canadian granite, man. Tell me where you're going to find a harder rock on the planet in this neck of the woods. There are harder rocks, don't get me wrong, but granite, okay? I don't even know if I'm right about that. There may not be a harder rock than granite. I don't know. Oh, you know what? That's a stupid fucking thing for me not to know. Living in, Bancroft is the rock mineral capital of Canada, if not the all of North America. Bancroft. They even have a festival for it every year. So, my parents used to go there every fall. I mean, Bancroft is, it's a good 2-hour drive from here into the bush, but that's our big backyard. Back 60. I'm up there fishing, because okay, we'll fish around here. Let's go up Bancroft, go up to Mark Lake or Berry Bay, whatever. My dad and mom used to like doing the rock thing. Go to a restaurant, there's really good fish and chips up there at one time. I don't know if that restaurant's still open. My mother can't remember the name. She says she tells me which highway it's on, so I got that part. But beyond that, I haven't been able to figure out where it is yet. And I did quite a bit of driving around there. Thank you, Peter. I don't know what they actually do on this one. This whole thing with instead of using those little things and throwing them away. I know a lot. Well, the ones actually, all the fucking things. You guys want to buy a good coffee that they actually do shit for environment stuff for you environment people out there? Musk, these guys right here. They make the Keurig things, but they're all compostable. Like my Big Bear that I said, you guys see me drink my Big Bear ones. I couldn't get Big Bear. I'm gonna look up on. I gotta see if I can get the Big Bear already ground or beans because I'm gonna do it that way. But yeah, all those are recyclable, compostable, not recyclable, compostable. And the design of them is exactly that. But the coffee is stupendous. It takes nothing away from the quality at all. Not even for a second. It does that. water. I almost didn't buy this Keurig. I said I'm done with Keurigs, but I'm glad I did. Because I said I don't need it. I'm just go back to my Italian coffee maker. But I was wrong. That thing that I could make my own coffee into it, which I really hadn't glommed onto because it didn't taste very good out of the other Keurig. This Keurig, because of the 5 thing, with that thing, it changed everything. It tastes like the proper coffee. So I don't know, weird, I don't know. Most people Keurig, they must have scientists. I had some spicy soup today at that restaurant. That was just beyond fucking good. I didn't eat anything else, I just wasn't that hungry. But the soup was fucking tremendous. Okay. 10 ounce. Magic happens. Oh my God, I'm doing my grandfather. I just realized what I was doing. Like this. My grandpa used to do that. I remember this as a kid. I've never done that. Stop it, Grandpa. Joe Murphy. My grandpa. Not hardcore Irish, but Irish. Just not the hardcore kind. No accent. Of course, he was born in the United States. He marries my grandma. She was Kuhneman, Germany. They immigrated here in North America in the mid-1800s. And then this is when everything got mixed up. The Irish side of my grandpa and that bunch, they came here to Canada first. Then the Welsh side, strangely enough, wound up in the same areas. And hence my father, a Jones, Welsh. So, I mean, talk about coincidence. They come over here like there's nothing here, not a highway, it was just one great big jungle from the moment they landed in Montreal or wherever they, offloaded and headed for Ontario, and they headed for Lake Huron. Well, there was nothing out here. I mean, I can only imagine what it must have been like to go through all that. I go through bush here, in my own property, and I mean, in the winter too, especially and we have the toys to do shit that it's still hard. But you imagine them with just horses and people walking and everything. A lot of people died. And I've got to tell you something, a lot of people have forgotten this. And that's the one thing that really pisses me off about people that come over from over there, the other side, is that all said and done with all the stupid shit that happened with the First Nations people and the way they were treated. Now, my family wasn't into that scene at all because my family was literally kicked out of those places, Ireland and Wales and all that, and Germany, they left my great-great-grandmother, they left because of all the wars with Napoleon and all that. They'd had enough with the European wars because Europe was at war every other day down there. They had enough. So let's go do the new life in North America. But people didn't tell them when they got here is that there's nothing here, you got to build it. So, and lots of people were suited for that. The Italians certainly are born to fucking, get me off a boat and give me a fucking hammer and nails and I'll build you a country. I mean, I gotta hand it off to them. I'm not wrong about this. I'm never in New York, but I see pictures. And half that city or more has been built by Italians. Irish too. Chinese. Anyway, our Rideau Canal system here. Everybody thinks white guys from Wales have built that or whatever. How many Chinese people were here as slaves in our country? Slaves? Died of things like malaria here, because that's the way it was. Now imagine my family trekking across Ontario 200 years ago, eventually winding up in the south part of Bruce Peninsula. Then my father's family kind of winds up in that situation between Hanover and Windsor, and then it gets even more coincidental. That side of the family meets this side of the family. In 200 years, here I am. Now, so I'm Canadian. I definitely got American because the way the things went. Michigan wasn't even a state. Ontario wasn't a province. Canada wasn't even a country. And we all end up like this, and then part of the family ends up over there. I know for sure some of the family married into some of the First Nations, the ones up at Lionhead, the other guys down at Saugeen, and like, so I'm not going to sit here and say that I've got First Nations in. I really should check my ancestry, but I'm not going to look for a card or any of that bullshit or go around going, hey, I never did that all my whole life. Why would I start now? It'd be interesting to know if I did or not, but just only out of curiosity. I probably wouldn't even tell anybody. Like, what would be the point? I look at it, we're all one race, and it's the human race. And a lot of you people out there that got your heads in the ground about what's going on in Congress and all that other stuff with the aliens, UFOs, you better get your heads out of the ground, ostriches, because we are dealing with other races here, and they are right here. And our American government, our Canadian government, they know. Okay? David Grush, 31 other people have confirmed all this now. And Congress is like, they don't know what to do with it. Pentagon is trying to stop the whole thing and breaking every law in the book to try and bury all this. Congress is getting pissed off. I mean, something's going to come to a head here. That's the whole point. The UFO, I mean, I do that UFO stuff on the YouTube and all that, but I'm telling you, it's coming to a head. But the point is that we better get used to each other, because the day that they do reveal themselves, or we find them out, which we have, and some of us have seen things, me, amongst thousands of others, abductions. I'm not comfortable saying I suspect I've been abducted, but there are some very strange things that happen with paralysis. Something even happened this last summer that was way out of the norm for me, for dreams and nightmares and stuff. And this sleep paralysis, that hasn't happened since I was 7 the first time I saw the UFOs. It was gone. I mean, and I remember waking up like that. I was feeling like I was like I was like, you know, like one of these, like I was like stuck or whatever, and then I'd wake up. Sometimes it was like I was flying through the water and everything was blue, you know, and of course I was thinking like Lake Michigan or Lake Superior, whatever, you know. But anyway, we're one race here, pals. Because one of these days you're going to wake up and it'll be Zeta Reticulans have decided to introduce themselves. Because either we've discovered something that is like, okay, impossible for them to ignore. We're in the middle of it. Okay? I've mentioned it about the DARPA accident with the Casimir effect, warp bubble. I'm a self-study on warp puzzles. I do not claim any talent or anything. It's one of the things that weird that got into my head, of course, because of Star Trek. And then I started reading Alcubierre's equations and his talk about how he solved the warp drive issue. It's just the stuff that we need to solve it doesn't exist. Negative energy. No, it turns out, oops, we think so. But then along comes Sonny White, one of NASA's greatest, and he's tasked to design a warp engine. He has been tasked to do this. Now, he's not saying he'll build one in the next 10 years. He's tasked to do the starting. So he's testing for Casimir effect. Oops, accidentally we created a warp bubble. How did we do that? You know, and so that fucking genius. And then he did the math with Alcubierre. So now it goes from, well, okay, we don't really need negative energy. We could do it this way, but instead of needing the power of the sun, we only need the power of maybe Jupiter. I know that's still a big jump for us, but that's a big fucking jump. If you look at the size of Jupiter to the sun, that's the power difference that those two made with their math. Okay, then along comes Eric Lentz. I just call him Lentz. Another fucking genius. Well, Lentz comes along and goes, okay, those equations work pretty good. Let me have at her for a while. And out comes Lentz's paper up on the art server, R8 server, you know, the one where they put the papers out, because I read all the papers there, the ones I'm interested in. And out he comes. Now he's telling us, okay, well, we could pretty much do this, but we're going to do it this way. And the energy needs on that now might be half the size of the moon or something. So it's still very significant. But with the type of energy he's talking about, it's doable. Okay? It's doable. Unlike negative energy with Alcubierre originally. Although now scientists are going, we think we discovered negative energy. It's like, holy fuck. Alcubierre was just proposing all that as part of a warp drive. So all these geniuses, whether you think they're onto it or not, they are. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm reading this shit, and I'm not playing around with some Trumper guy or some idiot, liberal, okay, spouting off their nonsense. No, I'm looking at scientific papers. And for whatever reason, that part of physics, I get it. I don't even tell me why. I have no fucking idea. I had no thing for math. I don't. I can do math in my head, still like I used to. I'm good at math, okay, but I'm not that good at math. You know, the Brian, what was that scientist I like? Sometimes I hate him, sometimes I love him. Dr. Brian Keating. Okay, now there's a fucking genius at Berkeley, that guy. And then there's Eric Weinstein. Now me and Weinstein, I'd be a child in his midst, and he'd probably be more irritable to him than anything else. But when he talks, I understand. He's talking about geometric theory, another thing that's a lot of people poo-pooed on him, but now they're coming around going, oh, well, sorry for laughing at you and shitting on your parade, but we've kind of discovered a couple things, and we think it might all work what you're doing there, Eric. And Eric's going, I know. And I'm going, well, the stuff that I do understand that Eric's talking about, and then connecting it to Alcubierre and those warp physics, I'm going, fuck, man, yeah. Like, this is a lot simpler than we thought. It's how we get there. Getting there, once we get there, that part's easy. Like, strangely enough. Like, a warp bubble, getting that thing, but it's all the shit we got to get to get there. Meaning, like, how do we keep from killing people with the radiation that's going to spit out in front of it? How are we going to get people when they're in the warp bubble to see outside of the warp bubble to do their coordinates? There's a lot of issues here, but they're not insurmountable. The insurmountable one was bringing space together, hopping through it kind of thing, like, you're in your bubble, so time and space is out here, you're in the bubble, you're not moving against the laws of theory of relativity, Einstein, you're keeping that, you're inside of that bubble that's outside of that, now you can go way faster and you're bending space essentially, like pulling a rug, and it humps up and you're going through it. So now you've saved yourself how many inches on a rug or how many thousands of light years, whatever you're doing. And the power requirements is our big issue. And it used to be like, and it's just like, Alcubierre did his fucking first warp drive calculations. Was it 92 or 93? And I remember my dad talking about going, there's some serious shit going on here, because my dad certainly understood it. I think my dad understood a lot more physics than he ever said, or because anyway. And here we are now, 30 years later, and I don't believe for a minute that, and this is not to down Dr. Sonny White or any of these guys, okay? But I think sometimes that these guys have already done and fixed, or was able to get these things to do what they do, and then the government shuts them up, and they sit there going, well, we're going to shut up, or my wife's going to get killed. Don't think that that's not happening. They threatened to kill David Grush. He's testified for it, and there's proof and all this over the UFO stuff. So don't think the American government, and that sad state of affairs in Ottawa, is not above that. They think that secret's enough. People will die for it, and they do. That's a fact. Okay. Rush is our perfect example amongst many. Forget the UFO thing. Lots of things the American government has killed people for they didn't want people talking about. Oh, they were trying to do it to Assange. Whether you think he was right or wrong, okay, he's being illegally kept above and beyond all of these laws. The Americans are trying to do something illegal by bringing them back there, and all they're going to do is put him in jail and kill him. That's all they want, because he broke into the big secret place that we're not supposed to be. The things they kill for, threatening a guy like Major David Grush. He got his security clearance back. Think they're worried now? Well, but David, I hope David puts himself in a warp bubble and just stays there, because he's got a security clearance now, which means now he can go into skips and talk to Congress. What do you suppose he's going to say then? You hear me? You fucking hear me? Shit is about to hit the fucking fan. And you people, my kind of people that don't pay a whole lot of attention to it for, let's see, what reasons? I got to go to work today. I got 3 kids I got to raise. I got a husband that's beating on me. Like this and this and that. Okay? That's us blue collar, backwoods, everything folk. We don't got time to pay attention. I do. because the government says, no, we don't want you driving heavy vehicles because you might actually kill somebody. I don't get it. You know, your brain isn't quite working on all cylinders either. So while we're at it, you know, take some pills. So anyways, but, well, kidding aside, well, not kidding, not kidding, man. The point is that our people, our kind of class of people, however you want to put it, we don't have a lot. I mean, I am actually shocked at the people that don't know what Elon's doing. And they're hard on Elon for lots of things. And very well, they're right. You know, I have issues with Elon about several things, but I don't completely write the guy off because of it. Now, if it's something serious like with Bobby Kennedy Jr., I decided I'm not supporting the campaign anymore. I will not vote for him because his stand on Israel. He's wrong. And he's not listening. And he's not listening to the advisors he should be listening to. He's listening to these other clowns who are only out to destroy his campaign. And I cannot believe a Kennedy, not the Kennedys I knew, Bobby Sr., or knew, but studied as a, you know, he studied all that shit. And what a great man he would have been. Probably the greatest president we've ever didn't have. His uncle, not perfect by any means, but holy fuck, man. He put us on the moon, didn't he? And when was that fucking... He put us on the moon like in 7-8 years from the time he announced it. 7 or 8 years. We haven't gone back there for 50. John F. Kennedy. And then his pal, you know, not pal, but one of his idols like mine, FDR. Great president, one of the greatest, if not the greatest. I mean, that man won. I mean, look, he saved the world along with Churchill and everybody else. Forget how you people, you wokesters, think how they didn't like black people or this. Man, fuck that shit, okay? That's what the sign of the times. You think they could have made huge changes? You guys can't make huge changes now. Imagine what it was like then. So the man did with what he had. Maybe he could have tried harder, maybe he couldn't. All I know is that him, Churchill, and all these other guys saved the world, okay? And FDR put things in for Americans that they never dreamt of having. You know, old age retirement, all of it. Then along comes Truman, the man who did not want to be president in any way, shape, or form. Backwoods Missouri boy. He was not interested. He didn't even want to be vice president. It was all a political game that FDR had to play and placate these and that. Well, holy fuck. He ends up getting, you know, FDR dies, gets sick, dies. And in the middle of World War II, we're about, you know, the Manhattan Project's going on with two atomic bombs or whatever being designed. I mean, he just inherited a complete fucking like, oh my God trip. Not a mess. FDR, you know, and all his minions and everybody, I mean, they had it all organized. But he inherits this. But for a backwoods Missouri boy, like, he didn't want no part of it. Well, holy fuck, did that man rise to the occasion. Again, not perfect. But did he rise to the occasion? Holy fuck. Yes, he did. Top of the line. Now I'm going to say something that's going to make every fucking, well, new Democrat, they would never understand because they're not really Democrats. Then along comes Dwight Eisenhower. Ike. American general, the hero of World War II, running the Supreme Allied Headquarters. Everybody's hero. Ike. We like Ike. Didn't matter if you were Republican, Democrat, we like Ike. Well, there couldn't have been a better president to come along that line of people. FDR, Truman, the big war hero. And then he ushers in the modernization of North America. Well, United States, the highway system does everything he does. He sets things into place so that Kennedy had things that he could do like the moonshot. Eisenhower was a great fucking president. And a man you could trust. I remember that last speech he gave. Rings true now, don't it? Hey? Good thing he wasn't killed for it. They probably would have in another generation. But Dwight Eisenhower, a real Republican, the kind I could like and vote for. Well, wait a minute. Aren't you like one of those social libertarians? Yes. I feel that the government needs to be involved in certain things when people can't help themselves. And then when there's people that can do their own thing and help themselves, well then leave them the fuck alone. It's pretty simple. Okay? And, you know, I don't believe in all these wars, all this other shit. We take care of our own. We make nice with everybody. They don't make nice with us, okay, like in the warlike way, well then, okay, we're going to smack you back. But if you don't, you're on your own, okay? Oh, you need help. Now we're talking something different. Now we'll be there for help, as long as you're our friends. So anyways, I call that a social libertarian. We've not elected any of those. Bobby is the only thing that's been even close recently. And he's close but no cigar. So, yeah, I have no problem with a guy like Ike being a Republican, because to me he was a real Republican. He had his conservative ways about him with the budgets and all that other stuff. Some people would call him a modern Democrat, and I'd say, yeah, you're right, they are. But he was a Republican, a proper Republican. Republicans that we all used to respect. My family was Democrat. FDR, my God, every house my family owned had a picture of FDR on that wall, right up until I don't know when. Like, you know, like everybody had a picture of FDR there. And Democrat, you didn't. Democrat and liberal in this country. Democrat over there, liberal here. That's what our family voted without fucking, you know. But then it all changed. Clinton fucked up the Democratic Party. The Republicans became this strange, weird place. And it left nothing. But, I mean, my family did vote. They voted. They didn't vote for Adlai Stevenson. That's why he lost. Because all the guys that were Democrats that loved Ike because of the war, even though they were Democrats and loved FDR and Truman, they voted for Ike because they're like, he ain't gonna do anything crazy, and we don't know Stevenson. And I'm sorry, Adlai Stevenson people and family and all that. Maybe he would have made a great president. I have no fucking idea. We'll never know. But we do know that Ike was. And he was good for all of us. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Socialists, you know. A great president in the story. And there's another guy that is part of the UFO thing. Like while I'm talking about the UFO thing. He set things into events after his presidency. Truman fed him. He's a military guy, so he understands the ramifications of another race that's either been here, interfering with what we're doing, command and control of the airspace, which, by the way, this Sean Kirkpatrick, I don't know who the fuck you are, okay, Sean, but you are a fucking no-minded moron. I don't know why you're in charge of Arrow. First of all, number one, I'm going to start this over. Hold on! This has become a UFO one now. Oh, wait a minute. Now what that little fucker's for? Hang on. Oh, okay. You need to hold it so it...